And Toddcast is a Mind Garden Media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions. Well, welcome to a live cast where we have nothing planned and have no idea what we're talking about.
We don't. We truly don't have any, there's no outline of what we're going to do tonight.
Hughes, yes.
What?
I said Holly Hughes is here.
I know. Holly Hughes is here, which she is, how did I put it? I said the amazing Holly Hughes. Holly's here, but with Holly, you can't really have a specific plan.
I know. And then you get you two together. And literally, this is what happened the last 20 minutes. I just sat here like this. And it's this, okay, the entire time, right? And then Holly's daughter is there too. So then she was over here and it was like this. And I'm just going, and I'm stressing because I'm going, well, at some point we have to talk about, what's going on tonight on the podcast. And then it's this. And then finally I had to actually do this and go, time out. We've got 5 minutes to broadcast. Can we figure out what's going on? And then we just said, let's just talk. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Yeah,
that's what we're going to do. Wait, I want to see if I can. Oh,
yeah, I want to share it.
Is that better?
Your light? Yeah, you looked kind of blue before. You kind of looked like the abominable, the snowman from the big scary guy from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yes, I know who you mean. Well, you know what the thing is? So my light that I use one of those conference lights on my laptop. It broke. It finally died on me, and it was a bigger one. And luckily, I had a smaller one that I had gotten as a backup. So that's the smaller one. So none of my settings are the way it's usually supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a better setting for you.
Yeah. So now we're good. I was trying to figure them out and see what was best. So
the other one kind of looked like you were in a freezer for too long during the day and you were turning a little blue.
Well, it's hard because I'm so pasty white anyways, so I can't have something really light. So this one's nice. It's sort of like shaded a little bit, but I needed to kick it up a notch and make it a little brighter. So we're good to go now.
Gotcha. I want to say hi to Betsy. Betsy tonight. Renee's on. Vicky's joining us. Getting done with yoga tonight. So
Vicky does yoga? That's awesome.
I think it was yoga tonight or is something else. One of those woo-woo things that people do. And I think it's yoga. So Brianna, thanks for being on tonight.
Hi, Bri. Yeah, so it's going to be a really fun night because I absolutely adore Holly. And she is so, I'm going to say it. Hi, Lisa. I'm going to say it. She's balls to the wall. She's so intuitive. She's got so much ability and talent. And she's just like this amazing woman anyways. So I just love her and I'm really excited. But we can't really plan exactly what we're going to talk about because it just goes off on all different tangents.
Well, you two certainly do. But yeah, I mean, it's a situation where you're basically going to get a bunch of people who are kind of into the same thing, who get one another, just chatting about whatever comes to mind. That is her wonderful website, Holly Hughes Intuitive. She is tonight's Woo Woo Wednesday. So,
hi, Joanne. Welcome.
Coming up on this week's audio cast, we've got part 2 with my sister.
Yes.
And is this the week we're talking about pendulums more?
Yes, this is when we get into pendulums. I think we talk a little bit more about past lives in this part 2 episode. And I'm also going to divulge some of the things that I got from using my pendulum this week. Some really cool stuff.
So there's so much to get to tonight. I also want to say that we're going to share a story with from somebody who emailed the podcast with one of their stories. We're going to share that. Right. But speaking of pendulums, my sister came over Saturday, I believe. Vicky did. And because, there's this big thing, Todd needs a pendulum, Todd needs a pendulum, Todd needs a pendulum.
Right.
And I can never get them to work. So she brought over some of my mom's jewelry because we thought maybe a ring at the end of a chain. My dad had an old key that we thought might work. Thought the key might work, and then it just kind of died off on us. So far, I have not found anything that really works for me yet. And I have to say this. I think my issue with it is that because I'm so closed off,
Yeah.
there's just no energy flowing.
I
Maybe
think
I'm
so
wrong.
too. I think it's possible, if in all seriousness, I think it's possible that you can bring your blocks, I don't know how to say it, bring your blocks down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just don't know at this point how easy it would be for you. I mean, you've gone for years like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But I will say this, when I said that, I was looking in the back room at Holly and she was flailing her arms. So we'll find out what that all was about in just a couple minutes.
And we also I have to talk about a couple of live casts that we have coming up in Ghosttober. We're calling it our Ghosttober live cast.
Yep.
And next week, we'll have Sue and Damon from APPS, Adirondack Park Paranormal Society, along with Dennis Webster, local author and ghost hunter extraordinaire, who is part of my group, Fort Schuyler Paranormal Society. And I see you're wearing our T-shirt that I brought you.
Yep.
Yep. And I would have worn my T-shirt or my hoodie tonight if I had known it would have been cute. But they'll be joining us next Wednesday night. We're going to have sort of a paranormal roundtable. And we're going to talk about Dennis's books that are out, the second edition of his book about the Old Main and Haunted Adirondacks. So that's next Wednesday. Then on the 14th, we're bringing back Thirsty Thursday Halloween edition. We just planned that this afternoon. And that'll be really amazing. It'll be Thursday the 14th. And we're going to have a whole bunch of fun. We're going to talk about scary movies, and there may be some costumes involved. And we're going to just have a good old time. Maybe play some Hollywood or Halloween match game.
Absolutely. Halloween match game will be there for sure.
That'll be fun. And then it'll be all our usual cast of characters, all the wackiness that you could possibly ask for, and probably more than you want. And on the 20th, we will have Gina. And how do you pronounce her last name, Todd?
Gina Koch.
Koch.
Yep.
I'm so excited about this. She deals with past lives. She deals with your spirit guides, and she's an animal communicator. And she'll be joining us on Wednesday, the 20th for a live cast. I know. And Todd and I will be having sessions with her next Thursday to see how it works. And so here's the difference. This is what I love. I am beyond excited about this. And Todd's just like, we'll see how it goes. And I'm just like this. And Todd's like, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
No, well, let me preface and just explain that. I am excited about it. I think she's very, very talented.
Yeah.
But again, when you allow yourself to open up and let somebody in, it's a little difficult.
I know it is. So. I know it's hard. And like we were talking about the Reiki last week with Vicky, you know, when I first had my first Reiki experience, it was very hard for me to open up it because you make yourself vulnerable. And I already feel vulnerable sometimes because of the fact that I'm open to things anyways. And, you know, so it sort of like makes it a little more difficult. So, but I think we'll have a really good time with it, and it'll help us sort of present it to everybody in a really enlightened way. So I'm excited. So lots of fun stuff going on. And then Lisa's in the room with us tonight, Lisa Hale, will be doing a special live cast with us on the 27th.
Maybe. Because I might also have somebody else lined up for that night too. So yeah. You
would kick Lisa to the curb?
Oh, absolutely. Like that.
Okay.
Yep. She would be off to the side. So I'll get that worked out. Got to say hi to Jet, and Drew is here tonight. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Hi guys.
On the Woo Woo Wednesday. Let's just bring her out because stay out of the mist. Very good advice, Lisa.
Thanks, Lise.
We're gonna get T-shirts that say that, I think.
Yeah, we should. And with the Sandy and Toddcast logo.
No, just your face.
No,
we don't need the logo on it.
No.
Let's bring her out. She's been flailing in the background. She has so much to tell us.
Go.
Say hi to Holly Hughes, ladies and gentlemen. There she is.
Hey. I think stay out of the mist should be a T-shirt.
That's what I know. I love it with our logo on. I think it would be cool. It's sort of like our catch line: "Stay out of the mist."
Yeah,
I love
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Although you're not going to hurt your ankle when you finally go in the spring, but as long as you're not going next month, there's something really dirty. So so I don't want to fail, but you know I have a thing. So my thing Todd with your woo-woo-ness because you're an empath. You're struggling with pain. So it's very hard to be open if you have some sort of physical pain or ailment, right? The woo-woo stuff kind of fades when that happens. But I think you connect in the opposite direction that many people who first learn how to connect. So a lot of people, when they learn to quiet and meditate, they kind of go here up. They kind of go into space. They feel lightheaded, whatever. But you're super grounding. You're super, for lack of a better word, a lower vibration, like a didgeridoo, like all of that really cool stuff in Australia, like that kind of vibe. All right, my cat's eating the cord. Hold on. I'm my computer's about to go flying.
Now I want that on a t-shirt. My cat's eating the cord.
Yeah. Eating the cord. Sounds dirty, but it's not.
I know.
So, but I think that you ground this way down. Mm-hmm. And so you are really connected to elementals and different energy, and the people around you are connected to a higher sound vibration, and yours is lower, and that's why it's just a little different for you. So I bet, looking at you, if you want to dare, hold up your pendulum, and I bet we can make a move.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
My first question is, have you guys cleared it? Did you do the salt? Did you clear out your
No,
energy?
I didn't do any of that stuff, because then somebody said you shouldn't have to do that, but I don't know. It's just been sitting
You
here.
do, because other people touched it.
Oh.
Right. So a lot of people who do tarot won't let other people really touch their cards, because then their juju gets all over it. Whatever,
right.
So.
I have not done that to this.
All right. Are you a righty or a lefty?
I'm a righty.
All right. I think you're just really Hayoka in a lot of ways, which means don't ever look it up, because I did, and it's very depressing if you look at a lot of it.
Oh,
but
you.
Hayoka, because I'm that too. So a lot of people's chakras, most people go in clockwise, but I'm Hayoka. Different beat. I go the opposite. So those people, I think you're one of them. You're here to be a little bit of a disruptor in the world, right?
Whoa, yes.
So that's your energy is different. So which way do I want? I'm mirroring. All right, just try holding it your right over your left.
All right, let me just turn off the fan so that doesn't.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Oh, stop it. All right. Let's see. Can you see it? Okay. Yeah. So you want it in my right hand, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep.
So you just hold the very top. Are you holding the ball on the top or the chain?
Yes. I'm holding the ball. The chain is actually a little bit kinked. So
yeah, there's someone there. Okay, interesting. All right, put it back on camera so everyone else can see.
All
Cheater.
Right,
there you go.
Okay.
There we
now
go.
Put your other hand under.
Yeah.
Just go
let me move
put
the
your hand
microphone
under
a
it
little
like that. A little lower. I'm already saying show me yes.
Oh.
Stop. Now I'm moving, so stop.
No.
It's not you, babe, but you can think that. Show me no.
All right, get this thing out of here.
See?
Yeah, but see,
you
she was asking it to do it.
No,
I
I was just channeling energy through you so that you could feel how it is.
So basically, when I do it, this is what it does to me.
Yeah.
Okay. It just kind of goes, I ain't working.
Because you have an expectation and you're drawing the same kind of snarky energy.
Mm-hmm.
So what you are gathering are earth guides. So they're very earth related. So I want you, if you want to try it when no one is looking, just think of your feet touching the earth, or touch the earth, or just think of whatever earth is to you. So that's the elemental of literally of ground, rock, metal. There's all sorts of things, wood, water, some, but that's a different one for you. Anyway, when you think of that, and say, and in your mind say, I'm just pulling the strength of the earth, show me yes. It will start to move just a little, because it knows you're a skeptic, which is fine. You could be a skeptic. That's right. Whatever. And then when you finally want to ask it a question to test it, right? Because I told these guys before, mine always lies.
Right. You did say that.
It did. Mine always lies. And I was like, I asked another person who's pretty intuitive, why does mine lie? And they're like, well, you don't need it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, so they're not going to let you use that tool. I have several tarot decks of different sorts. They're over there. That's why I'm looking that way. And I can pull really well for myself, but I don't like I get hung up on what the right interpretation of them is. So that's not my best thing. And me listening to the clairaudient stuff that I get is way easier than like that card means on this day when it's reversed. I can't, it's like too much to know for me.
You know what? I have to tell you that I really appreciate the fact that you actually said that, because from the outside looking in, I look at someone like you and many people like you, and I think, boy, they really got everything together. They got all the answers. They know all the answers. They're, really skilled at all these different things. And to have you say it doesn't work for me, or that's not my thing, it doesn't means a lot.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
It really does.
Like Reiki isn't for me either. I only ever let one person do it. And I know it's real, but a lot of people who are learning, the vibration of Reiki sounds like this, literally sounds like this. And I'm like, why would I ever want to hear that? Like,
right.
And so it's not my modality, right? It's just, that's not how I do it. I feel a lot when I just go like this, right?
Right.
Like,
isn't it though, part of it, isn't the beauty in it knowing what you're good at and what you're not, so that you can concentrate on the things that you're good at?
Sure.
I think that's part of like the journey. I think of developing and learning how to understand and manage it is just like, for example, things will come into my head, pictures will come into my head, but I don't see people, or maybe I don't allow myself to see people.
I don't know what that means. What's the difference?
You know what I mean? Like, how some people will they'll stand there and they'll say, okay, there's somebody standing right there in front of me. That's not me. But I'll get pictures and
you're just not there yet.
Yeah.
That's different. You're developing. You guys are like in an interesting period of like leveling up. I like to call it, right? Like I had a lot of gifts. I didn't have control. I would randomly see dead people. I would randomly know stuff. And I was like, well, that's annoying. So I think when you decide to discover, right? Like they are giving you information in a way that you can process.
Okay. That makes sense.
So for me, I can see that you can see light there though. Like I feel like when I go through your energetic, when you get to know things, like if it's a person, like I think ultimately you'll be able to see the opposite of a shadow. It looks like white light to me.
Okay.
So, and I think you'll see that shape, and then you can ask that shape, and that shape can speak to you in pictures.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Holly, because,
and sound, and they're going to mess with your taste buds eventually.
I do. Great. No,
Nuts on Clark.
I know. One time a smoker came through and I was like, what that? Like nicotine.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I can touch things. That I can do without a doubt. I can get stuff. We were in Oshkosh and we went to the Grand Opera House, and I put my hand on the building and it was literally vibrating for me. And like I can touch things and feel things that way. We know what happened when we were in Plainfield with the grave. And but that to me is just something that's developing in me now, I think.
Yeah, I think for you, like what I would ultimately do is like, right. So how I do my modality of intuitive healing, I get the emotional experience of it. So that's like a lot of feelings, right? So then you have to learn that when you're doing healing work, you're not giving your energy. You become a channel of whatever it is that you connect to. Everyone connects to different things. Me and a friend, she's very talented. She's actually a sound healer. She plays gongs and bowls, but we see similar things differently, but get the same information, right? So like whoever wants to reach out to you will guide. My only tiny concern with you, with how you like to be tactile, is you absorb it all, but do you let it go after?
I try to. I don't know that
I want to bring Todd in on this one. I'm like, he's got a lot to say. Look at that expression.
I don't know that I'm good at it all the time, but I try to.
I worry about that with her. She also has this. She has this. Confidence is good, but she has this confidence that scares me a little bit. Like instead of thinking before she makes that step, or looking down before she makes that step, she just steps into it. Which I understand. There's a lot of there's confidence there. There's also a lot of energy and excitement about doing that. But that's what worries me the most. Like,
I don't know that it's confidence, though, Todd. I think it's just more like that thirst for the knowledge of it, that thirst for
You're going to get
wanting
your
to
thirst quenched real
understand it.
fast one day. And then I'll be sitting there going, well, she was a nice person. She's dead now.
She's an act, think, feel. Like that's how, right?
It's
Or
just
act,
how
feel.
I am.
Yeah. That's how she is.
But I am learning to be much more careful. I never, you know what? If Plainfield taught me anything, it was that lesson that I can't just go and do something without thinking first, because I did not ever expect I did not ever expect what I experienced when I put my hand on the stone.
Yeah. I think also what they're showing me for you, and then I promise not to read you because then that's like a lot of information. But what I'm seeing is, and I don't have any of them close to me, but singing bowls.
I have one.
Okay. Do you have a copper one?
Yes.
Okay. So what you're going to do after you're done with whatever an experience going, I want you to bring the bowl with you and tap it and clear yourself like with the sound of it before you drive anywhere. And just and then consciously you say, no one follow me home and I'm done now.
Yeah.
Love and light, nothing. Yeah. Like we
sense.
went house hunting once and the house was we pulled up. I started getting headache. I'm like, way too many dead people. There's no way I'm living anywhere on this block. It's awful, awful, awful. And before we went to the next house to look for it, whatever, I had made my husband pull over and rubbed my hands in someone else's yard. I was like, do not follow me anywhere.
Can you imagine looking out your window and here's this woman out in your yard just kind of rubbing things in,
That sounds wrong. That just sounded really wrong.
I'm just saying, it does sound wrong from start to finish.
Our live casts always go in these weird directions. I don't know. But it's true, though. Like, I will say, as far as seeing light, does that include, there are some nights when I'll lay in bed, and thank you, by the way, because remember when you told me that I had people with me all the time? I actually started setting boundaries at night because I was having wild dreams. Like really, Todd remembers this. I was having some really strange dreams, just like really out there. And I started to set boundaries. And each night before I go to sleep, he's laughing at me. Each night before
I don't know, like he's eating something and he's not sharing. This is what I'm thinking right now.
I got lifesavers. But the reason why I was laughing is because no, I don't remember because I have no memory.
Oh, that's right. When he was really sick, like I could tell him anything and he wasn't going to remember it. But I was having really, really bad dreams. And so after our live cast, each night I started setting boundaries with them and saying, you need to leave me alone tonight while I sleep. And I say this each night. I don't want you in my head. I don't want you near me, nothing. And I have not had dreams like that since I started setting that intention. So thank you. But one thing that happens to me sometimes at night is I'll be laying there with my eyes closed and it looks like a bright light.
Yeah.
And I'll get flashes of a bright light.
That's what I was doing just before. I was like, it's bright light. Yeah, those are your guides. That's just love and light coming at you. That's some good juju.
Yay. That makes me happy. And I thought it was the strangest thing, but then when you said light, I was like, wait a minute, maybe that's what that was. So
yeah, it's also they come and check in on you. Like they like to come and like visit and look. And it's nice. It's all good stuff.
Cool. Very cool.
So we were talking. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a question about clearing energy. Last weekend, I was around people a lot, and that's not something that I do much anymore. And I learned how to, this isn't really about me, but it kind of leads me into the question. I learned how to sort of block that energy when I need to and try to manage it better. I was at a rehearsal dinner and a wedding. And
did you not like the people? Because the face you just, I was like, Todd, you didn't jump on that. He's like,
no, because I knew who was there. I was there the entire time with her. I actually had to block myself from her that night.
He did.
Remember,
he told me he blocked me. He blocked me. We are that connected, Holly. I'm not kidding you.
Well, I told you what I felt like between you guys when that other stuff was happening. That's really hard.
What stuff? I don't remember what.
Oh, no, because I emailed Sandy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, you can share.
No, when you were feeling, you revealed something really intimate and powerful last time about when you were having those suicidal ideations, right? That it was someone else's, and she was also like getting headaches and that's when I sent you that message, right? That you can differentiate when it's yours for where it is in your body and where you're feeling it, right? So, I always like to tell people who have some gifts, especially empathic people, anxiety, like a good message shouldn't cause anxiety, right? Like you can
Yeah.
have anxiety when you don't make a choice. That happens
Right.
a lot. Or you
Right.
can be overwhelmed by other people's feelings. And that's usually most of the time what is causing anxiety. And I feel like you had a panic attack during that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not responding. I'm waiting for the nod. Give me the nod.
Think that I'm sorry, you were saying that you think I had a panic attack?
Yeah, I feel like for me, it feels super heavy here. The thoughts were like, it just was so not you.
Yeah,
that it was
I don't, again, I don't know that it was, I don't know that I perceived it as panic. I just remember feeling absolutely like I had no other choice. Like this was what was probably going to be the outcome for me. And I didn't understand exactly why. So it was very sad. A lot of tears, a lot of, when it's one of those things where you're looking, but there's no color in your vision. That's how dark it was. It took the color out of it. So
it was so strange because it was a Sunday afternoon. It was quiet.
It's always Sunday afternoons. I don't know why.
I know. It's really weird.
You better start watching TV then.
Gotta do something.
Do something. But it was really strange because I can't remember if he messaged me first or I messaged him, but we were in contact. And right before that, I just felt so off and so weird. And then when he messaged me, we voice message. I had never heard him like that before. Ever.
Yeah, he told me, I heard him say he doesn't really like those. I heard that, right?
Yeah.
When you like hold the button down and like.
Oh my gosh. Cause it happened again. Like she'll do 5 in a row and they're all 1 minute long. Cause that's as long as you can make them. So then I've got to take 5 minutes out of doing whatever I'm doing to listen to her conversation.
And I'm just so old that I just like pick up the phone.
He doesn't have to do it all at the same time, but it's faster than me typing it.
I can't listen to your message and then stop for a while and then come back to the next minute of it. I mean, it doesn't really, doesn't flow that way.
But he does it to me all the time too. But it was really strange. And so when he told me, I think Saturday night, he told me he blocked me. It made perfect sense because I was having some anxiety at the beginning until I settled down and kind of as an empath or with the energy, I sort of have to kind of stake it out a little bit and see where I should be going and what I should be doing to sort of save myself a little bit. So in the beginning, I'm always very anxious and reading all this energy. And then I settle down and I sort of, compartmentalize and I move it away from me. But it was really, really a weekend of a lot of energy.
And you were asking about grounding after that. What can you do, right?
Yeah.
Clearing that?
Yeah. What can you do to ground yourself?
After a really heavy episode like that, I would 100% say salt bath.
Yeah.
Like you just got to like float in like a lot of Epsom salt. If anyone was wondering, regular Epsom salt, there's smelly ones that are awesome. There's pink, like you get as fancy as you want, but you don't need to. Right. But that, and for that energy, like for me, I literally stick my hands in dirt. Like I will go dig a hole. I will go in a garden. I'll make a garden. I'll plant some things. I like to create life when I'm feeling those overwhelming dark things. So I go literally to the opposite of it. That really works for me. Sound has a profound effect on me that way as well. I think if anyone out there is just like discovering their gifts, you guys have so many amazing people who are really good at being more, and this sounds snooty, snotty, and I don't mean it that way, but just more at the beginning of the discovery of their journey of what your talent and gift is. And you can always do things like, I think I said this to you guys too, like ask yourself, is this my feeling or is it not?
Yeah.
Right? Like what's making me feel this way? If you have no logical reason, I'm going to let you know that it's probably right, like someone else's. And then you can give it a color or a shape and you can create and make something manageable out of it, right? Like if it's overwhelming darkness, to me, it's like a ginormous ink blot, right?
Yeah.
And depending on your generation, ways to get rid of it is you can give it up to love and light. You can ask it to pass it to an angel. You can just ask for help for it also. But like we were talking about this in my house the other night and I can't remember why, but you remember back in the day, Superman with Christopher Reeve, they had that dimensional portal that was like that flat glass,
Yes.
like stick that and throw it to space, like, just get rid of it. Or what you guys did, which was amazing and beautiful. You reached out for a friend because you knew you were overwhelmed. That I think is the hardest thing to do, asking for help.
Yeah.
Right. Or just asking for someone to hold the space to hold you because it's crazy.
Mhm.
That is a huge thing. And then you can like figure out more. Sometimes it's not spontaneous, right? I think like as a healer, my buttons get pushed too, right? So things happen to me and like an old button. Okay, I'm wearing my Mercury's in retrograde shirt because the world is
I love it.
messing with me right now, but it triggers my old stuff. And I'm like, why is this bothering me when I dealt with it like forever ago? Like, is it a client coming up? Maybe is it some similar to that? So because I get messages in emotional stories in my body, sometimes I have to figure out, am I really mad? Like, why did I wake up so sobby? Like some days I'll just be sobbing until the client comes. I'm like, you can take your energy back and we'll heal
It's
you, but
true.
I don't need it that much. So
It's true.
it's a lot.
All right. And let me ask you this, because I think there might be a lot of people on the beginning of their journey. I'm past this part of it now, but I remember being this way in the beginning. As you discover that you have abilities, you have gifts. I have a friend who's just sort of starting out on that journey, realizing that there are some things in their life that they have abilities, they have gifts.
They can
And
hear. They're clairaudient. They hear things. Yeah.
they're starting to get like guidance from a lot of different people.
Mm.
And so their head is sort of like a squirrel trying to cross the road,
Mm.
you know, all over the place. How do they, my suggestion to them was take it one thing at a time, because the rest will be there for the rest of your life. So learn A first. Try to learn about A first. Manage A. Then you can move on to B.
That friend, it's kind of similar like to what Todd like talks about when we were talking about before about what modality works for you or doesn't, right? Like, so when you get excited about something, you want to gobble all sorts of things up. But I think for that person that you're talking about, what I feel is that they have to learn to meditate first. They have to learn to get quiet. And then whatever message they get while they're quiet, then they can learn how to receive it, interpret it, and know what it means and get comfortable with that and then go bigger. And then the hard part is too many chefs spoil the broth, right? Like everyone has an opinion and none of them, right? So you could be like, oh, I really thought that. And then 5 other people are like, no, I know it means that. Like, I don't do that for people who are learning. My thing is like, what do you think? What do you feel? And I'll be like, what I'm seeing is this. Do you see anything similar? Does that ring true for you? It might not, because maybe I'm wrong, or maybe they're not there yet. Right. So it's okay to go slow. I've had these gifts my whole life, right? Like, so, and sometimes I call them, they're telling me to call it an ascension when you like level up. So there's always a hiccup. And my experience of when my gifts get bigger and better and I tune into more, I'll just call it cosmic love, like the better stuff. I tend to have to go through some emotional growth and pain here. You know, right. You got to like let go of something. You have to be the vessel open, right? Like a lot of people are like, your friend is like a thumbnail. And if they're getting a fire hose, a lot's just going to go over. It's okay to, you know, enjoy this and then go a little bigger. They feel like art related to me. I think it's you too. I keep seeing like images. So like, I feel like you're going to be able to get stuff off of old paintings.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, that's kind of interesting. And I feel like your friend is going to have information told to them in color. So I feel like they hear things and then I see flashes of color, and those colors will mean something to them eventually.
Did you mean I get things off of old paintings?
Mm-hmm.
I actually had an experience just like that. I had an experience.
Hang on one second. I'm just going to do this with my microphone real quick.
I was in the old Maine, the old Utica Lunatic Asylum.
She should have been there the first time around, to be honest with you.
What are you doing?
It was before I knew anything. It was one of the reasons why I sort of started on the journey to begin with, because I didn't understand what had happened to me.
Because you heard the woman screaming in the painting. I'm like, what? That is crazy.
Dave and I walked into this room, because after the tour, they let you kind of wander around a little bit. We walked into this room that had all these paintings. And as soon as I walked into the room, I felt like I just got hit in the chest and I couldn't breathe and I was having a panic attack and I said, Dave, get me out of here. Get me out of here. So he led me out and then I felt fine. But come to find out, it was paintings done by some of the residents. Yeah. And at the time,
didn't you know her? Couldn't you do anything about this?
I didn't know her at the time. This is well before my time.
That was like 10 years ago, at least 10 years ago.
If
and
I would have
had no
known
idea.
these stories when she reached out and said, hey, I like your TV show. Can we be friends? I would have said, sorry, block that bitch.
I won't even tell you about the Holocaust Museum.
No, I can't go in there.
Yeah, no, it was bad. I thought I could. This was way before too. This was like 2008 before I had any idea. And it was, I mean, it makes so much more sense to me now, these episodes. But at the time, I didn't understand.
I think that's actually tied to a past life for you.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think in conversations with her about it and some of the stuff that she's told me, I think we kind of resolved to believe that as well.
I do believe it.
Holly, you made a good point, and I think Sandy made a good point, and it's something that I kind of believe, and that is, as you are learning, as you are growing, you kind of find that teacher, that person that you connect with, and you learn best from them, maybe a couple of people, but if you've got all these different voices saying all these different things, and it doesn't quite mesh with where you're at, or your gifts, or your beliefs, because I think everybody does have a little bit different belief. Things work differently for them. Doesn't make one person right or wrong. I think finding that one or two people that you kind of hold dear to yourself and feel like you can learn from, that's the way to go. Your daughter was with us before the broadcast, and she is just a very lucky individual to have you as a part of her life, because she has somebody that can teach her all this stuff.
Right.
Yeah. It was pretty open in my household. Like my family, we all have like gifts. I think I said that like last time, on some level, some sort of, I have it more than anybody, but I really explored it. And I think for me, I knew how afraid I was of so many things when I was younger because I didn't understand it, even though it was, so I don't want her to be afraid, and she's sensitive. She hears a lot of knocking in walls. So like I have to like really clear for her. An owl landed by her window once, which is cool and scary if you're a little kid and you hear, like that's kind of nutters. So,
I would say so.
And there's like some metal roof line right by her window. And she's like, what's that noise? I'm like, it's summer. It's just the metal like popping, but she's like, I'm not sleeping in there. Like, okay.
But it's great because it's, sometimes I really wish that I had, like, I look back on it now and I'm pretty sure my grandmother had gifts. My mother, even if she did, doesn't want any part of it. So, but I never really had anybody. And my grandmother came from a generation when you really didn't talk about things like that. You didn't even understand it. There wasn't really a name to it. And so I really wish sometimes that I had that guidance growing up, because it would have maybe saved me years of feeling crazy and depressed and isolated the way that I did. And now, sort of understanding it and starting my journey this late in life, it's still given me a little bit more freedom.
You're not that late. I can't, like, you're not that late.
She's having a hip replacement next week. You got to get the walker out.
Are right on time. You're right on time. Right on time.
Yeah.
I also think people should know that, like, I've had some amazing teachers and healers, and we get close and then we don't. Then it ends.
Yeah.
Right. And that can be painful because there's this trust and vulnerability, but it's okay. You'll get through it and you just move on to the next thing. Maybe you're meant to learn something different from a different modality that the other person doesn't. It's kind of like, right, you guys know I'm a writer. So critique groups, sometimes they're so insulary that they don't actually help you grow if you're there for too long, because it's the same advice, the same input, the same perspective.
Right.
When aren't we into this to like open perspective and like gain insights on something that we don't know?
Right.
Yeah.
So are relationships and love like that as well?
Ooh, that's a big kind of question.
I don't think it is, because I think it really flows. I think the two things go hand in hand. I agree. I worry about this mentality that, not that you don't want to be with someone a long time, but that has to be the person you're with forever, because that's the mentality that that we're told in this world. And it's
Mhm.
like, well, if you're in a relationship and it's good and it lasts 6 months, that's a good thing, you know? And if you move on to something else, that could be a very good thing as well. You know, nobody gets an award at the end of everything that says, oh, well, you were together for 25 years. You know, there's no awards at the end. At least nobody told me about it because I didn't dress for the award show. So,
But nowadays you only have to dress from here up. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
well, let's see what I got on tonight.
You're gonna wear
right?
the Beware the Mist shirt, and
I know,
you're
right?
just gonna be
He
like,
made us all stand up and show what we were wearing under one night. I was
I'm wearing pajama bottoms because
you know
I
what?
rushed
Me too.
here.
I've got sweatpants on. I went out to dinner with my girlfriends tonight beforehand, and I had jeans on, but I put sweatshirt. I was not drinking. I literally messaged him from the restaurant and said, I'm on my way home now, and I didn't drink tonight. I literally said
You're
that.
damn
to him.
lucky you sent that message because I was waiting to find out.
But I subscribe to the idea that everybody comes into your life for a reason, to teach you something, to be there with you, to support you, whatever that reason may be, whether it's for a day or it's for 10 years or it's for 50 years, they're there for some reason. And so I've learned, I guess I've kind of learned to understand that. And I don't really get as upset as I used to be if something stopped, if something ended, because I know that they were there for that amount of time. And so that's just sort of
You're probably
how
better
it goes.
than me then. I get hurt. It hurts me, right? Like I know a great deal of people, but I only consider a few very close, right?
Yeah.
Like I have good boundaries. I'm also married, so I don't text 700 people during the day.
Right.
I don't know. I have
No,
a career. I have a kid. But some people are really needy. No,
Yes.
that's not a nice word.
yes.
But they are. They need
they
something,
are.
and I'm like, I need an adult relationship. That's not what
Right.
I'm looking for in a friendship. I believe in soul groups. I think you
Mhm.
make contracts with people to come and interact and meet. How long that is or how not. I think the younger generation have different definitions of sexuality, of relationship, of
Mhm.
polyamory, of what is monogamous. Do they want relationships? And my attitude is like, do what works for you. Don't hurt
Yeah.
me. I'm good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, do you think that maybe that's part of the reason why is because I've sort of put my walls up for that kind of stuff? Because I don't talk
for
like
polyamory? What?
No. Like a
I like making
Hello?
Todd
Is
laugh. It's
anybody
just
there?
fun.
Hello?
It's fun.
No, I mean in general, like I was
That's
saying,
Polyamory's on the phone right now, and she wanted to
She's
check
like,
in on you,
"What?"
Sandy. Polly's like, Sandy, that's not what we were talking about. And
Like
then she
you're
hung up
pretty
the phone.
dedicated to your
No.
marriage, so I'm confused. What's going on?
No, I mean just in general, like I've sort of learned, I sort of look at it like, people come into your life for a reason and they leave for a reason, but I'm like you, I have a very small circle. It's my mother, Todd, and Dave. That's pretty much my tiny little circle that, and I do get hurt, but I've sort of learned that, it's acceptance of maybe this wasn't meant to be a friendship in my life for a long time.
Yeah,
Or
I think for you, your thing was you were so busy being an empath and a helper and a healer to other people unconsciously that you might have attracted vampire-y kind of people, right? People who just sucked your
Oh.
energy. See how I was so
Holly,
politically correct that way. I feel
know,
so good
right?
about myself.
I could tell you stories. There are
I
days
can see it. I can
there
see
are days when
it.
I get messages all day long some days, and I don't have the ability to even open them. I won't even open them for a while because I have to wait until I'm able to do it.
Oh, you don't have to open them. I think I'm trying to give you a new path. So you were that, right? You operated in this way. You have a huge heart, right? You are a kind person. You are a curious person, and you're open to all of these things. And so you are open, which is fine, but we can put like parameters on that open. So we want to invite those who are also curious and who are satisfied within themselves so they don't need from me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember what that I just said. So you write that one down because that was a channeled message.
I got it forever in video.
Okay, excellent. So like for me, that's what it is. So for you, it's leveling up in how you do relationship, right? Like you're so busy caretaking, right? That I would invite a little more fun, like you guys have, right? You have like this fun. It doesn't always have to be as intimate at this. Like you can just have the one who's fun, who will go to the store and go shoe shopping with me. Like you can have that kind of friend, and it doesn't mean it's diminished, but you give it stronger parameters.
I have always been attracted to connections. Connections.
Connect over shoes, and then it's this thing.
Right. Yeah, no, you make total sense.
Because look at this, you have so many amazing intimate relationships. You have one with your husband, you have an amazing relationship with Todd, even though he makes faces. And
because I know the truth.
Right.
I know all of the truths.
So I think you're incredibly lucky that you have people around you who see you, support you, adore you, right?
I am very
so
lucky.
You can have some friends that are just for fun.
Yeah.
They don't have to know everything, and you can enjoy that part. A little.
And I have to work on that. I have to learn that. I do. I have to, but that makes complete sense. And that is the best advice probably I have ever received, because that's me. I'm a healer. I'm a fixer. I've always been the fixer. I've always been the answer to everybody's problem. And
get yourself a new definition, babe. That's what the book's all about.
I know.
Use different words.
Except in her marriage. Dave has to kill every mosquito, every spider, fix every nail poking out of the wall, plug every appliance in.
But he likes
Dave has to do all that stuff.
He likes it.
I know he does.
It's his love language. I can fix that. I got that.
You're right.
I have to tell Holly about the conversation we had this day. So about 2 or 3 weeks before we went on vacation to go visit him, I was telling him I wanted to go to Nuts on Clark. Okay. And
how does Nuts on Clark come up again in the podcast?
Who names this? Who named that?
Several years ago, we were in Chicago at the airport, and they have this popcorn company called Nuts on Clark, and it had the best popcorn ever. So I found out they have a flagship store in Chicago. So I was so excited to get to go to Nuts on Clark. So I was telling him.
You just said that like 10 times. I just do you not have a graphic that it should just be Nuts on Clark?
Actually, I did have one. I deleted it tonight because I didn't think we'd need it, but I'll make it again.
I'm thinking they need to give you money.
But this is I'm telling him, and I'm messaging him, and I'm telling him like what our plans are for that specific day. And he's like, are you ever going to let Dave do something he wants to do? And I said, Dave loves it. And he's like, Dave might want to go to Boobs on Debbie or something. And that was one of the funniest things that I had ever seen. I'm like, Dave, do you want to go to like Boobs on Debbie? He's like, what are you talking about? So Dave and I have many interests that we enjoy doing things together. So
I think you guys are solid as a rock. I think it's fun. I just think it's too fun for Todd not to go there, because he gets to pretend to be the curmudgeon that he is, right? He's like,
of course, pretend being the operative word. Being the operative word.
He's a river rock. We know this. He's a river rock.
And Dave were like best friends. When we were there, they were like BFFs the whole time.
There were a couple of hugs, I'll be honest with you. Dave and I hugged a couple of times. And that was not easy for either one of us, I could tell.
But yet they did it.
We did.
So,
and I saw the picture. You guys actually all have legs. That's very exciting,
isn't that great? That's just amazing.
Holly, we talked a little bit about empaths tonight. I kind of want to wrap up our session on that. Sandy and I are working on a new podcast. We're going to continue doing this one. But this podcast started off being one about paranormal, and then it eventually kind of evolved into a bunch of other stuff, which is great. But I feel like sometimes our needs as the podcaster aren't met, because we're not always necessarily talking about stuff that truly interests us or is important to us. And so we're just going to have this little side project called the Empathicary Podcast. So we're taking apothecary and empath and mixing them together.
I figured that out. I was picking up what you were laying down there.
Well, but see, there's some
I
people
don't think
that may
anyone's
not.
sarcastic enough back to you. So I'm here. I'm enjoying that.
Be careful. I have the switch in my hand right now that can just wipe you out right now. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on it. You heard about it. I explained it a little bit. What do you think? Is it a good thing for us to do? Do you think?
Not to like, yeah. What's not? Yeah. I mean, you're both curious about it. You are connected to a lot of people. I think it's going to take a path that you didn't expect, and then it's going to turn something on for you, Todd. Like
Okay.
something that someone says is going to help flick that switch. And I think it's going to help take away some of the fear that you have towards your gifts, right? That you're like, no, I just don't do that. And it's just a fear, really, of like, what happens when I open the door? Like, how do I close it? How many pillows do I put up against it when I'm telling them like I'm overwhelmed or I'm dealing with stuff? But like good energy knows that. So I think it's cool.
And it was
like, what's your first thing that you kind of want to do? I'm like kind of curious now. You already have your sister and the amazing pendulum stuff. You have empaths who come in.
But you would be a perfect person to have on that and just kind of discuss that level of it. And I would like to do some class type stuff. I would like to get
fun.
Where we kind of teach empaths. And again, everybody's different, but some basic ways of protecting yourself, how to deal with it, how to realize, like tonight, how to realize if it's your energy you're feeling or if it's somebody else's.
I can give a quick tip on that now if you want. If you want to keep it on your podcast. Okay, so for everyone who's an empath, I just want you to like chill out, take a breath, just like get into your body. You don't have to get zen. But like just think of your energy and then hold your hands like this. Go ahead. I'm waiting. Okay. What are you two doing?
Doing it.
No. Okay. Okay, for Todd, I want you to hold them closer, like to your throat and heart. So move closer to your body. Yeah, like over there. And then like I would tell you to close your eyes. And then I just want you to feel your own energy between your hands. Most people will start feeling heat in the palm of their hand. Right. I know Sandy can feel the pulsation between because I could see it in her hands.
Yep.
And Todd's is very tiny. Todd's is a tiny light, like my favorite, one of my boyfriends, Chris Pratt, in Guardians of the Galaxy when he plays catch with his dad and he makes a kind of thing. You've got a little going there.
Yeah,
but
it's there. That.
Right. So if you just feel that, then you know that's your energy. And then whenever you're around someone you trust, you can do that and then put your hand over that person and ask to feel theirs. And it will feel different in your hand. You might get different sensations. And then if you really want to go for it, you just say, push theirs back. And then it should get cooler. Literally.
Okay.
A little
I have to
cooler.
try that.
But
amazing.
you see, like even like everyone's like, of course you could feel something because it's your hands close together. But some people don't.
No, but it's different. It's different though. It's different because I can truly feel like a pulsating.
Yeah. Well, yours is doing that because
you're right on. Mine's like that's about it right there.
Yours is it's a marble. Yours was a marble.
It's like Rudolph's little nose, and he's out in the cold and the snow with you.
But for you, that's massive. See, like we're joking, but I don't want to joke because if you are starting, I don't want you to judge what you feel. That's the whole point. It's like you have this, and then when you're not on air and you want to play a little, and you're like, all right, make it bigger. And then say, give me a shape. And you see as your eyes closed, if you feel a shape, if you are imagining a shape, and intuition comes from the same place over here by your third eye as imagination. So some people don't know that they are intuitive. They think they're making things up.
See, that's, I don't know that line because I've always been very imaginative, but I have those very strong feelings, those strong visions, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know where that line is.
Sometimes I feel like you get like a metallic taste in your mouth or like, I don't know how to explain that. Like
minty? Is it like
minty?
Taste?
But we can, do you want me to ask them to give you a signal that you can pay attention to?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So my teeth are grinding. So I think you're a grinder or a clencher, right? So what I'm going to ask them to do is, that I don't know how much dental work you've had because I've never seen the inside of your mouth, but there's a taste of that metal, everyone who's been to the dentist, like that nasty. I'm going to ask them to put that taste in your mouth.
Okay.
And then you're going to get a twinge of it. And just a twinge because you don't like being overwhelmed. And if I sent you a wave of energy, you would feel it and you'd be like, stop. And I'm going to respect that you have a boundary of, I just want a little hit, a little bit. And when I get comfortable with just that little bit of information, I'll ask when I want more. See, your boundaries are super duper strong, right? You're like 3 walls deep, right? That's a technical term. But anyway,
it works.
So
It's good sound effects too.
right. But that is who you are. So why mess with that? Right. Like when clients come and they want to work with me, I have to respect how much they can take in, even if they're asking for something, right? Like there's only so much your body can process. And right now you're still physically going through stuff, right? So why would we add sensation to that? That would be
Right.
foolish and not very nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
in love. I'm in love with Holly. She's just so wonderful. Honestly, like I think of all the people that, you know, we've had on the show and stuff like that, if I could open up to someone, it would probably be her.
Yeah, I think so,
Seriously.
too.
That's just the
do.
way I feel.
I
Now,
agree.
talk about people coming to you and working with you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how they can do that, because this is a really cool website that I think people should check out, which is hollyhughesintuitive.com. And it's a great website, by the way. We were talking about the color scheme. I love it so much.
Me too.
Yeah. In theory, to come and like feel good, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yep.
that's the whole thing. Yeah, you know, it's super easy. You can hit that big button that says book a session in the top right corner. There you go.
Right there.
And then you go ahead, click on it. It's so simple.
I just
And-
did. Let's see if it happens.
Let's see. Oh, because we have a lot of stuff on here. We're streaming, but I do Zoom or phone. At the beginning of the pandemic, even though I had Zoom, I didn't like doing Zoom sessions because people would get like all perfect for camera.
Right.
And then I can't read because you're projecting so hard. Right.
Right.
So phone, in person, and Zoom, and I get all of the same information, just like how I can see these guys and get information from them. First sessions always go super fast, just because it's usually a bigger thing that's happening. But I actually, you know, several people have been asking me to do workshops, but because of COVID I like doing things face to face. So I had to put them all off. Like I did a writer's retreat. I think we talked about this last time, right? In Charleston, where I talked about all the ghosts that I saw. We were supposed to go. We were supposed to go to Salem, and then the next one I wanted to do was down in New Orleans. But that whole voodoo, I have to figure out if I'm like emotionally prepared because it's taxing. But yeah, easiest way to work with me is that way. Sometimes I've gone to a few parties. Someone invited me to their house, and I had like 10 people, and everyone could ask a question. But when I got there was a ghost. So you know how to get rid of that guy first. I was like, "Did your dog get upset? Is there something going on upstairs?" She's like, I was like, this is an industrial spot, and a kid who used to work in there died in the machinery, and he's sitting there on the steps.
Oh my gosh.
And she's like that. And I point to the steps. She's like, "You're freaking me out that you're pointing." I'm like, it's because I can see the kid, you know.
Have you crossed people over? Do you do that kind of?
I mean, when I see a ghost?
Yeah.
Yes. Because why keep them there? But they have to be willing. Like I crossed that little boy over. And even though the people in the room were not expecting anything like that, or that I didn't expect to be doing that, but they, like when the boy changed, the dog's behavior changed.
Yeah.
And two of the girls were like, "Did the temperature in here just change?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's gone now."
Yep.
You know, I think sometimes they just don't know, kind of thing. But in Charleston, my experience with most of them that sit on their graves, they know what they're doing. They're just having fun.
Right. You know, we could do a whole other hour about this, but I just want to ask you a quick question about that. I feel like I could do that. I've
you totally
started
could.
to feel like I could do that. But how does it feel when you do that? How does it feel for you personally? Can you tell like physically if you do that?
Yeah. How do I want to keep, I have 2 minutes. I want to stay on your time limit.
Oh, no, don't worry
You're
about it.
fine.
You can do
You're
whatever
fine.
you
You're
want.
fine. You're fine.
Because I no longer offer mediumship readings as a thing, because it is like, even thinking about it, I'm starting to cry. It just, can you see? Like it's in a very emotional, visceral, because I have to be so open, and the person who wants the reading wants certain information, right? So when I used to do them, I would need a picture or an object. That's how like I would kind of tune in. I feel good about doing what I did with those people for an answer, but a lot of people, when they want mediumship readings, can I just suggest this? Don't get stuck on the moment of death. Please don't do that, because as the medium, they're making me feel it.
Yeah.
And then I have to relive it and feel it and feel it and feel it. And it's because I get an emotional response. So that you are similar. So when I see someone who's willing to cross, I always envision a white door above me. It's typically to the right, like way above me, right? Like it's not in the same dimension kind of thing, but it's a big door. And I open the door and I say, whoever you love is waiting for you. Sometimes I ask for an angel. I crossed a slave who was connected to a kitchen stove. Like there was this one woman, every time I went to Charleston, it was a slave and she was chained to the pot in the kitchen where she had lived her life. And it was a small building near a bank parking lot, like, which is the weirdest thing that like, I would have this insane visceral thing. And during the last workshop, I walked the people there and I was like, this is the woman that I see. And I was like, let's try to free her. Like, why should she spending eternity in this pain of slavery? Right. So, I opened the door like for me to heaven and for her, Christian heaven. She didn't want to go there. That's not her thing. And I'm like, I'm not Christian. You're okay. But, there was another woman who was, a Black woman in the group, and she got super emotional. And I was like, let's open the space for her, for it's her heaven and free of pain. And and I literally told her, I'm taking off your chain and I'm setting you free. And then like that, I had to go home. I went to the hotel and I slept for 2 hours. Like it just, but she was gone. And then I never felt her there, whatever. It's a visceral kind of experience for me because you are so sensitive. I think it is a gift of yours, but I would need you to learn and control how you ground. And I need you to know when to turn it off. Like you would have to only go in for a specific thing. Don't be like open like you are, right? Like, oh, I'm going to be here. And then they'll all be like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then like, that'll be too much. It'll give Todd more headaches, for goodness sakes. You guys are so connected.
Definitely something that I have to work on. And that's why I don't know that I would be ready to do that at this point.
You know, they're showing me that you should wear, this is fascinating. Ooh, this is fascinating. They're showing me, I'm calling them belly dancer bells. You know, the anklets with like jinglies on them?
Yeah.
That will be important for you when you do it.
Okay.
Like, I know, Todd. These are the things, the messages that I get. It will make sense when you're ready. But I think I'm cueing in that you are connected to sound. Mm-hmm. Okay. So for you, it's like, okay, and the door is closed and we are done and we are here and we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, like a close the door. Like when I'm done with a guided meditation, I say amen. It's a really nice way to end. Doesn't matter what faith you are, or if you're no faith, doesn't hurt. It's a word, right? So like a big amen to that. We're good. I tell people to stamp their feet before they drive just to make sure, like, because I'll send them places like don't drive while you're dizzy, please. Like that's super important. Right. So yeah, but I think for you, sound is really key. It's going to affect Todd. So whatever you do, you guys are like connected that way. So Todd, one day you and I will be talking. I'm going to like,
please.
I was waiting for him to have
I'm just going to go and book right now. As soon as we're done, I'm going on and I'm booking a couple of sessions. Because
I think for you, because you guys are energetically, empathically connected and there's like love there, right? So it has to be a choice today. It would be a closing of a door. So like, okay, so there's the other thing. I'm going to totally jump on. I know you guys can handle it, right? Yeah. So my favorite Halloween thing is The Others. This house is ours.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
That is a great movie.
That.
Yeah. So you two kind of have similar like connections. So like, you know, the doors are like, don't let the light in. Don't let the light in. Right. Okay. First of all, why isn't that one ever on Netflix? Like I can never actually like.
I don't know, but I love that movie.
I'm going to have to watch that one. Anyway, so that one's like my favorite. But like you guys have almost like that ghostly spiritually thing together. So I'm going to say it's an ancestor between the two of you that shared that I'm seeing above you. Like it feels like a man. So I don't know whoever that is right now. They're making me sweat. I don't really want to know his name yet. So anyway, so like I would, when you do your super woo-woo crossing things, we're going to ask that guide to not include Todd's energy in it. And you're going to have to learn how to, that's what you need to do. You pull energy, but you pull his.
Yeah.
So we need to stop doing that.
Oh, so that makes a lot of sense. No
Does that
wonder
make
I've been
sense to the
feeling.
two of you?
That's why I've been feeling like shit for the last 6 months of my
Oh,
life.
'cause
She's
it's
been
my
pulling all my
fault.
energy. She's
That
the
is not
vampire.
true. It's not that. It's that you guys are so cosmically, we'll call it that, soul
Yeah.
level connected, right? So
Yeah.
we just need to be like, I appreciate that. It's like, the Wonder Twins, right? You activate, you do stuff, and there you go.
The Wonder Twins.
Pretty sure it's my my depression.
Your form
kicking
of the
in now.
monkey, and
Yeah.
she is an ice ball.
No, I can only be ice. Remember, I can only be water. She can be any
Yes.
animal
I
she
can
wants.
be the animal.
I
He's
can be
the
a bucket of
wall.
ice.
That
No, I
sounds about-
reversed you. Yeah.
That sounds about right. He's the ice wall.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about the Wonder Twins before. I love it. I can be any
Did you?
animal I
That's
want.
amazing.
Are
Yeah,
you
we
really?
did.
Are you kidding me? I have them all set up. There they
Look.
are.
Wait, didn't they have a pet? They had a pet.
Yeah, they had the
The
monkey
monkey.
Gleek.
monkey.
The monkey.
Gleek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, Holly, speaking of Salem, you mentioned Salem a little while ago. Todd may be coming out next fall, and we
Now,
may
wait a
be
minute.
all going
That
to
was-
Salem.
That was just a little possibility. I would like
Right,
to go
right.
back there at
It's-
some point.
Right.
but
It's a possibility. And so if this happens,
I'm
you
there.
should meet us in Salem.
That would be so fun.
That would be awesome.
That
If
would
we,
be-
Everybody
if we
bring
end
the
up
broomsticks.
doing
We're
it,
going to go flying for
if
the
we
night.
end up doing it, that would be amazing.
Oh, I
Just
totally.
saying.
And then I get
Just
to
saying.
zap you in person. How fun
I
would
know.
that be?
Oh, she's going to zap.
They're also wait, trip is canceled. The last thing that they're telling me about the two of you is
Run like
Sandy
hell.
should wear copper, and you need some hematite. So when you want to like change the I think to change the polarity of what you guys are, your vibe, because you need to vibe up. You're doing more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sandy, I want you to get something copper,
Okay.
like a bracelet.
Okay.
And Todd, you need some hematite.
You know, that's funny. Hematite's always kind of been my thing. And I wonder if that would be
That's
good.
because you're a grounding god, right? You're the grounding
Don't
god.
call him a
Maybe
god,
I should see if
Holly.
I can find some hematite to see if that would work for my pendulum.
Yeah, well, what that pendulum was dark anyway. What was that?
That was my birthstone with that purple stuff. The
Amethyst?
amethyst. Yeah.
Todd
purple
wears
stuff.
hematite already. Who wrote that? Who wrote that?
I have no idea.
Is that the guy behind the Iron Curtain?
Yeah, the guy
It's
behind the
the
Iron
guy
Curtain.
behind the Iron Curtain.
All right.
I
well,
make hematite break, so it doesn't work for me. But you're that vibration, so I would like embrace it.
okay.
Very
I will
good.
do that.
Definitely.
Holly, thank you so much for taking time to talk
Oh
with
my
us.
gosh.
Fine.
We
It
love
was
you.
very nice meeting your daughter. And
Yes.
yeah,
She
it was
loves you
wonderful.
guys so
She's great.
much.
She's great. So
So we love you. Are you going to come back?
I mean, every time.
Okay.
good.
Every time.
Good. Don't say that because it'll be like.
Do you know what I
obviously.
did to get here? Like, honestly, so I'm coaching my daughter's tennis team,
I saw
and it
that.
went past 7, and I like drove home, showered. That's why I'm like, wait, I'm still sweating from being outside.
That was amazing. We appreciate it. So I
Yeah.
saw that email and I was laughing. I was like, she's going to do this. I know
Oh,
she
yeah.
is. She's great.
I
So-
give you my word. I'm a big believer of honoring that. So,
So thank you so much. We love you.
I love you guys too.
So we
I was-
will definitely.
I was trying
see
to
you soon.
pull up a tennis match to show her actually out there coaching, but I wasn't able to do it fast enough.
Not
So I
fast
apologize. for
Wait,
that.
before you hang up, I don't get.
Yeah.
I want to know what your favorite like Halloweeny like movies coming up, or do you have one that scarred you when you were young?
Well, when I was young, and I've talked about this with my sisters, and I know they will agree with me on this. For whatever reason, my mom thought it was great to watch the old vampire movies when I was very little. And so I would go to bed at night, and at the end of my bed, I knew there was a frickin' coffin there, and it was going to open up, and a vampire was going to come out. But you know what? You should be on that podcast with us. If you want to be on that podcast, you should come on. We'll talk Halloween movies.
What
that
day
night.
is that?
Yeah. The
What day is that?
14th, Thursday the 14th.
I
It'll
know,
be so much
I'm
fun.
gonna try.
All
Okay.
right.
Sounds fun.
Yes,
because
definitely.
I saw Hell House when I was little.
Mm.
Like I was in 3rd grade, so it was on Channel 11, right? I know you New York Pix. Remember Channel 11?
Yep.
Yes,
yep,
I do know
WPIX.
pics actually. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So there I was in the basement on the like 13-inch TV, which was giant back in the day, right? And this movie,
Yeah, if you sat like this.
Yeah.
well, there was no remote, right? You
Right.
actually was like, but I saw this movie and I couldn't walk away, and it scared the crap out of me. And now, even when I think about it, it scares the crap. I have to rewatch it. I know it's going to be campy. I know it,
Yeah.
but that dude in the room throwing things down, forget it.
Yep. It's amazing how as an adult things take on a whole different, you have such a different viewpoint. Mine was the original 13 Ghosts.
Oh, I never even saw that one.
Oh my gosh. The remake, they did a remake of it, and that was very scary. I saw that more as an adult, but if you ever get a chance, I don't even know what year this was, but it was the original 13 Ghosts. You have to watch this
All
movie.
right. I'm
It
all about
freaks me out.
rewatching The Haunting of Hill House, the season 1.
Oh, yes.
That shit
yes.
scared me so good. I had to watch it during the day. I was like, why am I watching this at night? Because once I open to that, then I feel that stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing?
Yep.
Sandy,
was
send her an invitation
Wait,
for
wait.
that night right away, okay?
I will.
Please?
I will.
Okay.
I'll send you an
now.
invite.
That's it. We'll go like this.
All
We'll
right.
have to do the whole thing like that.
Holly, have a good
All
night.
right.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
on with
you
us.
so much. We
Holly
love you.
Hughes, thank you.
Bye. Wow. That was
Holly
amazing.
Hughes, intuitive.
I love her. And see
Of
what I mean?
course.
She's balls to the wall. She's straightforward and honest, and what she sees is what you get. And I love it. I love her. So, busy next few weeks for Ghosttober. We have a lot of live casts, one each week coming for the rest, probably the next 2 months at least, Todd.
I think we got our
So-
season planned out already, don't
Yeah, we're pretty planned out, and I'll start putting up the events soon. So be watching for the events, guys, and be sure to like our page, the Sandy and Toddcast, if you don't already, and also join our group, Stay Weirdos, Friends of the Sandy and Toddcast, which we just got a whole bunch of new members this week.
we? Yeah, I
So I'm
saw
very
that.
excited about that. Yay!
Cool. And keep an eye open for a new podcast called the Empathicary Podcast.
Yeah,
So,
we're
that should be
excited.
fun.
That was your idea, and you were the genius who came up with it. And
Genius,
I love
right
it.
here.
Yep,
Genius.
Yeah, I will give you that. I will give you that. And so be watching for that, guys. Sort of a side project for us. It's going to be really cool.
All right. I'm out of here. You have a good night, okay? We'll talk to you soon.
Good night, guys.
Bye.